tradingsites.io. Got an interesting one for you today. Some of the people that I follow on YouTube, one of them is Matt Wolf. I'll show you his channel in a second, but he did this 90-second thing a couple hours ago talking about how there's a whole bunch of jewelry coming out that is AI-enabled jewelry. And I got to thinking about that, and I was trying to figure out, well, what happens if you're teaching something, whether it be a course, whether it's a live course, or maybe you're a teacher in a traditional classroom or on a Zoom call, and everyone there is wearing ChatGPT 5 or Gemini or Claude. What if they actually have that tutor, that AI tutor, live with them all of the time? So I'm going to show you the 5 kind of tools that there was 3 that he mentioned. I have a couple other ones I'll just share with you, and I'll put the links to all these so you can have them. But I really think it's kind of interesting what's going to be happening here when the students or the people taking your course are not limited to being in front of a desktop on a computer, that they have these interactive AI tutors with them all of the time that they can interact with. And, you know, from my own personal kind of perspective, I'm trying to figure out, how can I plan for this? I know I'm a little bit of ahead of it. I get that. But the part that I see, again, and this is just my personal opinion, is that things are moving so quickly that if I'm talking about this now and some of these tools are out now, we're looking at 6 months to 8 months before this stuff is going to start showing up for everyone. And if that's the case, and we're thinking about growing a business and we're thinking about doing things the old way, how does that fit in? And I don't have the answer, but I'm talking about it because I just want people to kind of think about, you know, what does it mean to me? Not only from the perspective of I'm the one that's trying to sell the course or create the course, or I'm the one who has a traditional teaching job and I'm trying to figure out how to beat this AI stuff. It's pretty cool. Very, very cool. So I'm going to put the links to all of these. And the first one I will is this didn't come from me. I'll just show you right now. It was Matt Wolf that I watched one of his presentations just this morning, and it got me kind of thinking about it. And it was a 90-second one that he introduced these 3 different tools. One of them I did know about, the other 2 that I didn't. And the thing that's interesting is I'm going to go to the web pages. These are from the last week of July, some of these announcements. So this isn't something that has kind of come out of the, you know, the woodwork just all of a sudden. They've been working on these things for a while, but they're starting to make them a little more public. Now I'm going to show you 2 that I talked about earlier in another video just to refresh your memory. There was 2 that came out. One of them was this one right here called Limitless AI. And if you look on the screen here, you'll see just by my head, there's a little bit of a pendant here. So there was 2 of them. One was called, I think it's pronounced Plaud, Plaud. AI. I'll show you that one in a second. But they had these ones, and basically what it is a lapel pin, not a pendant, but a pin. And what it does is it listens to all of your conversations, and they have a subscription model that allows for the recording of the conversations, and then they use AI to summarize it, action items, all of that cool stuff. So if you're teaching, as an example, or if someone is there on your course, a live session or even a recorded one, and they're talking, or the voice or narration from your course is there, they now have a transcript of whatever was there, and they have an AI tool that has access to that transcript and can start to do things with it. So whether or not it's GPT-5 or Claude or Gemini or any of the other ones, I think my understanding is that they kind of tap in to the API of those. So for all intents and purposes, it is some of those, I think they're called frontier models, are the ones that are actually controlling this. So you've got these 2. There's one called Limitless, and this is available right now. It's $399, and I think you can go to the website. Again, I'll put all the links for these ones. The other one that I saw, let me just pull this one up, see if I can find it. Yeah, this one here. This one was called Plaude, and I think it's Plaud. And this one is kind of a device that goes on the side of the cell phone, and they have a pendant as well. So this one is similar. It's always there, always with you, and it has the ability to basically be not necessarily a tutor, but something that summarizes all your interactions with real people. Now, here's the one that Matt Wolf came out with and mentioned to me, and I'll show you these ones because these ones are a step above having a wearable. Remember the ones I just showed you? Those ones are really about recording stuff, right? They're not interacting with everything around you. They're just recording stuff. This was the one that really blew me away. This one here, I'll pull this one up. We'll actually do this one first. Just going to find the right one. I'm looking for the actual information about it. Let me see if I can find it. We'll just go to this one right now. So this one was from Meta. So if you're not familiar, Meta is Facebook, and they have this whole design department that is doing all this really cool stuff with the VR glasses, right? And they have their Area Gen 2 glasses on the right-hand side here. Let me just put the other screen. These particular ones basically have the internet or have an AI tool in the glasses, right? So there's a heads-up display with a microphone and a camera, so it can interact with your environment, and it's a pair of glasses. So they had those ones there, but the other thing they've been working on is a wristwatch, for lack of a better term, and that's the one that they're showing right here. And this one, there's something really neat with it. Again, this is from Matt Wolf, and I read through the article here just to try to get myself up to speed, but we're looking July 25th, 2025. They've been working on this, I think, almost a year now. The other date that I saw was 2024, but this is a wrist device. But the cool thing with the wrist device is they use this EMG stuff. And what it does is it's not like having a Fitbit on your wrist that measures your heartbeat. It actually understands the movements that you're making. So here's something that knows what movements you're making. And from my understanding, it's close to the point. Again, go and do your own research on this, but it's at the point where you can start thinking about something about moving your hand, and it's going to be able to pick that up. So here we have another AI device that is physically with you, that understands what's going on, and you have glasses that you're wearing that are interactive. So if you're teaching a class or doing a lecture, what happens when everyone shows up with a pair of eyeglasses? What happens when everyone shows up with a notepad that's there? I don't know. It's going to change the way not only people are learning, but it's going to change the way that you have to actually teach stuff or get people involved, which is another video which I'm going to do shortly. But that was one from Meta. And again, I'll put the links to these ones. They have all sorts of really cool stuff that they were doing with those headsets and those VR worlds. Again, that one's going to be really cool. Now they've got a wrist device that people can wear that allows you to basically do stuff in the glasses, in the VR stuff, just by the movements of your hands or your arms and wrist. So that's one that's coming out. The other ones that he was talking about, and again, these are not from me. These are ones that he was talking about. There's two that kind of jumped out at me. The first one was, let me see if I can find this one. Limitless. Yeah, so Amazon last week, this was Wednesday, July 23rd, they bought one called B, which had been picked up before, and it was kind of like a Fitbit. But from what's happening here is we've got personalized summaries of their day, but they're doing the same kind of thing, where they have summaries of their day, but they've also got now access to some of the physical stuff that is there. We've got the Aura Ring that I'm sure you're familiar with, the physical stuff. So the cool thing that's happening here, we've got this one here, which is B. There was another one that was mentioned called Omni. Let me just open that one up here. And again, this is from Matt Wolf. This was a necklace on that one. Where's the one? I just want to find that one that I found. There's a couple of them. Rabbit is another one that's there. Sorry, I left the actual thing there, but there's another pendant that's there that interacts and understands not only the voice that's recorded, the one cool was Omni, was it actually understood all of the nonverbal cues in the voice, talking about the volume, temper, pitch, tempo. So it was able to understand that maybe one that's just taking notes isn't able to pick up. So the only thing I'm thinking about here is that, if you're going to teach something, and again, I'm talking about someone, the example that I came up with, I was thinking, let's say you're going to teach someone about phishing and I'm talking about computer or email phishing. Let's say, for example, you want to teach someone about cybersecurity and phishing, just an example. Are you going to do a slide deck with some bullet points and a talking head and a checklist where someone just sits in the class, maybe they record that particular device, Maybe they have a pendant there, or they have the ability to talk in real time with these devices that they're wearing and clarify stuff, ask questions, see what you're trying to pitch them or talk to them about on a slide deck. That stuff is there for them. That content is there for them all of the time. Any place that they go, it's not just in the computer, it's there all of the time. A tutor in their pocket, whether it's a wristwatch, a pendant, eyeglasses, all of these things are starting to come out. So I'm really excited. Like, this is going to be super cool, but it also brings some challenges, right? I don't think you can get by in 6 months or 12 months from now with a video tutorial of content. We got to try and figure out what are the things that we can do a little bit differently. They're going to change actually happens. So, the one that came up, I was just kind of thinking about, okay, we've got talking heads, slide deck, checklists, that kind of stuff that people normally focus on a particular video. What about, for example, if we had a little AI app that we built, one of those web apps I've been talking about, and before the class, even though it was an in-person class, for example, maybe it's a Zoom class. Before that class, let's say, for example, you build a little web app, and what it does is it sends some fake phishing emails to the students in the class, and it also knows who opened the email. So who are the people that interacted and opened the phishing emails that you sent to people just by building a real simple web app. And I did a couple examples of that I can show you in another video where I just used GPT-5 and I said, hey, I want to be able to build a quick little app that allows me to send some emails to the list of my students and have the emails, phishing emails, and know who has opened them and who hasn't opened them. So let's say, for example, I do that. I send an email out to people. People come to the Zoom call where I have my live online class or in the classroom, and I have live statistics on who fell for the phishing emails. Now, what do I do from that? Is it something about a talking head video, or can I go and talk about or take a look at, in the example I was thinking about, I use real examples and show of the people that opened the ones that were sent out to them beforehand. So that pre-training simulation is there. Maybe you break people into groups to take a look at different styles that they were. Over the next weekend, you have it send additional emails out to the group and see who did it and who didn't. Maybe there's small groups or people do presentations on the styles of the phishing emails that were used, the ones that did and the ones that didn't get used. This is fundamentally different, I think, than doing a traditional course. It's about an experience, and that's why I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We got to think, like, I'm trying to think outside of the box of creating courses. And on trainingsites.io /join, I'd love for you to join as well and hear about what you're doing. I'm trying to figure out what's next. Is it going to be these learning experiences? Is it going to be web apps? I know it's going to be the AI stuff, but I don't know how it's going to be put into place. This whole thing with wearable AI, that's just another thing that's opened up, and that's just being talked about in the last couple weeks. So this is cool. Let's have some fun with it. Figure it out. I'd love for you to come to the community, basically figure out with me what's going on here and how we can take best advantage of it. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io. Did anyone actually come on here? I got 7 people on. I just kind of did this up. Actually, let me see if there are any questions. I don't have any. Transcribe the videos to text. Hey, hello, dated Accord and D-Champ, and agreed. Okay, so I will show you this. This was, again, unplanned. I'm just going from something that I saw with Matt Wolf, and I'll put the actual links below. The transcripts, this is the one that I use. And again, let me pull this one up for you. And again, this one is a get your pen ready. This one's a nice, easy link, and it's free. It's called, there it is. This one is called youtube-transcript.io. And all you have to do is put your transcript in here, and it extracts it. And you have a timestamp transcript. And if I go take a look at some of my history, just for the examples of ones that I've done, I built a little web app basically that takes all of my videos, takes the transcriptions, does an AI summary of them, posts them to my website, posts them to social media, posts it to an email that I can actually send out after. So the one that I did last time, I can go take a look at the transcript here. There's basically the time-stamped transcript that's available, and all the things like Notebook LM are there. So that one's called youtube-transcript.com. What else we got here? Any other questions are kind of coming up? No, I think that's it. Okay. I'm going to stop things here. If there's no other questions, again, I hadn't planned to do questions, but this is really, really cool. Take a look at the links. I'll put them actually, I'll try and put them in the description below. They will be on the training site. And then start thinking about outside of the desktop experiences, doing stuff with web apps, wearables. People have a tutor in their pocket all of the time. The other one that's kind of cool here is, and again, I'll just touch on this one. I'm going to have a video after this talking about how I'm trying to think of learning experience as opposed to course content. And I'll show you some of the research, again, just because I'm on a roll talking about this. But one of the things that I'm just kind of figuring out with, and let me just pull this up. Just trying to find the one that I did. I think, this whole idea of teaching is going to, and I'm calling it conductor versus creator mindset. So I'm just trying to figure out, how do we become conductors of experiences and not creators of content, and kind of just playing around with that a little bit. So I'm going to do a follow-up video on that. And the reason I'm doing it is exactly the same thing, that people are having wearables, and the content, they can create it in the class. They can create it watching the video that they're watching of yours. So how do we put these experiences together? This is the cool stuff. This is the fun part. This is the stuff that I'm excited about. I hope you enjoyed this little session. Again, it's james.trainingsites.io. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, join all of that stuff. I'm here every day doing this stuff, and I'm also on the campus as well, trying to answer your questions and learn from you as well. Take care and expect the best. We'll be back shortly with another great video.